Hi, this is Jim O'Brien from the Muskie School of Public Services Student Affairs Office, and we've put together the following video outlining the most important steps you need to take before you graduate. When students ask me about the process of finishing the degree, the first question they usually ask me is, when do I start preparing? I tell students it's a good idea to begin getting their graduation-related ducks in a row at the beginning of their next to last semester. So don't worry if you're watching this at the beginning of your last semester, as there still will be time to do these things and to get everything done you need to do before you can graduate. But there isn't as much time, and so it's going to be a little bit busier run up to the finish for you as a result. So the first thing that every student needs to do before they can graduate is to go into MaineStreet and apply for graduation. So I'll walk you through that process now. So here I am in my student center. You'll notice this academic section near the top of the page. And then where we want to focus, at the bottom of this academic section, you'll see this other academic sort of drop down here. If you click on that drop down, you can do a bunch of different things, but we're going to focus here on this top option, apply for graduation. So if you click there, you'll then be taken to a page that looks like this. On your screen, the program listed will probably be something like MGMT /Muskie /grad /FA. I'm not doing that degree, I'm doing a different one, so mine's going to look a little different. If you are in the process of completing multiple degrees, you'll see each degree listed on this page. You need to make sure to click on the program for which you are applying to graduate. MaineStreet doesn't know which one you're thinking about closing out first, and so because you're in control, you really need to take a moment, you multiple program students, to ensure that you're choosing the correct degree. So for me it's going to be easy, but you want to click on the appropriate, click on the program that you're finishing. For me it's this only one. And then you're taken to a page with spaces for, well, it'll look like this. The title of the page is Select a Graduation Term, and you'll do that at the bottom, but you'll notice before we get there some fields. And so it lists the institution, whether you're grad or undergrad, your program, and then your major. For me it's business administration, and yes, I'm actually this is a real thing. I'm actually applying to graduate here, so now you get to know that about me. But let's just say that as you're reading this over, you notice that, oh, I thought I was doing a Muskie degree, but instead MaineStreet seems to think I'm doing medieval French history. Probably a valid degree for some, but if that's not what you're expecting, that could be troubling to see. So this comment field, that's where you would write in or type in any concerns you had with what is listed here. If you're okay, if everything looks fine, don't write anything in the comment field. Moving on, you'll see this thesis title and advisor name fields. Unless you're doing a PhD, you need to leave those blank. That literally is the thesis, not a capstone, and the PhD degrees are a little bit, or the diplomas rather, are a little bit different than the master's degrees, so they would actually need to know that. For master's degree students, totally unnecessary. So you can skip right down to the bottom. It's going to ask the expected graduation term, and for me, I'm given two choices: fall 13 or spring 14. I would love to be done in fall 13, but I won't be. So I'm going to apply for spring 2014. And then it takes you, these instructions say the following basically. The first paragraph, all it's saying is if you're applying for spring 14, the deadline for that is April 1st. We're beating that deadline by a country mile here by doing it today, so we don't have to worry about that. The next paragraph tells you that you're going to be entering some text, or you're going to be double checking some text. Make sure that your name and everything on the next page is the way you want it to read on your diploma, because that's how that information is going to be used. It's up to you to enter it in the correct way. That way, you know, nobody knows how to spell your name more accurately than you will, and so MaineStreet puts that in your hands. And then the third paragraph talks about the comment box above, and the last bit again, thesis and advisor can be skipped by all but the master's degree students. If you were applying to graduate for two programs simultaneously, maybe you're doing a dual degree and you were finishing them both in the same semester, you would press or click on this select additional program. I'm thankfully I don't have to worry about that, so I'm just going to hit continue. All right, so now this page here is where we're going to enter in the information that we want to appear on the diploma. You're going to enter in the address you want your diploma mailed to, and then we're going to talk, or you're going to indicate rather, whether you intend to go to the commencement event or whether you don't, whether you want to be in the printed materials or whether you'd rather be a bit more anonymous. So this is exactly how I'm going to want my name to appear on the diploma. Yes, that is my middle name. It is a family name. That was my grandfather on my dad's side. Good guy. And my uncle too, Uncle Clem. Anywho, so that I don't need to make any changes. Sometimes the apostrophe is treated strangely by different systems. If I wanted to adjust my name, I would just make the correction, hit refresh, and then as long as the blue text next to the refresh button is showing exactly what you want, you're good to go. So I'm going to go back and re-enter this, refresh that. Great. And then it'll tell you this next bit. I've blurred out my home address, but it's listing my home address there in blue. Next to the diploma will be mailed to the following address line. And if you want to change that, these fields here are where you would do that. And then just make sure to hit refresh after you've made any changes, so those changes are preserved. And then here we've got the hometown / commencement information. You can list your, first of all, if you choose to be included in the printed materials, that basically, do you want your name in the program at the commencement event they do every May, then they want to know what hometown you're going to list. If you don't want to be in the printed materials, that's okay. There's no obligation, but they won't need to know the hometown as a result. Actually, you know what? I'm going to go back and change it to my actual hometown from Central Maine, rather than where I live now. The next bit is whether or not you'll attend commencement. I am going to go. My mother would have my head if I didn't go in March. She's got a thing about wanting to see me wearing a funny hat or something. And that's actually a question I get a lot as well. You know, should I go to commencement? I'm thinking about not going. It's a really personal decision. I will tell you that. I've met students that are very okay with not going. I've met students that would never dream of not going to commencement. The advice I usually give is not to try to tell students what to do, but more to completely explain, or to try to explain, what commencement is for. It's not for you, and don't take that personally, but the commencement event is designed so that the people that supported you, if there were any, people in your life who are proud of you and this latest accomplishment, can see you being recognized. So that's sort of, if that helps you make a decision, that the event isn't to make you happy, it's to make the people around you happy, then there you go. All that said, it's not by any stretch obligatory, but I will go because, again, Mom. If you need any sort of special accommodations, here's where you would tell us. And then I do want to call attention to this year drop down, by the way. You've already told Main Street by this point in the process which semester you're planning to graduate. Um, if you were in a situation where you could graduate, if you were eligible to graduate in more than a 1 year period, then you would actually have a choice here. Because the only commencement event that's coming up during my window for graduation is in 2014. I'm not given a choice. So it's okay to go ahead and leave it as invalid there. I'm done on this page. This is sort of the last click here that I'll make. Submit application. Boom. If you see this page, you're good to go with this step. Now, I do want to let you know, kind of what happens from here on out. Um, by the way, if you want to go back in and check, you can click on you can go back into your student center. Again, choose that apply for graduation option, and then you can click on view application. So you can go back in and look everything over, change things, or if you change your mind, you can even cancel your application at the bottom of that page. So what'll happen next? You'll get an email from an email address. It's usmregi at usm.maine.edu or at maine.edu. So usmregi. The subject line of the email is going to be graduation application confirmation, and when I got the email, there's nothing in that body of the email, just a blank email with a subject line. And then some stuff's going to happen behind the scenes. We do suggest that you meet with your advisor or at least email them as soon as possible to make sure they know you've applied to graduate and when you've applied to graduate. Advisors do like to know these sort of things, and if they know right off the bat that there's going to be a problem with your proposed timeline, they're going to want to let you know. So you've completed the graduation application, and your name is now on a list that we in Student Affairs will pull down once a month. So we pull the list, we look at all the new names on that list, which are the students that have applied that month. We pull the students' transcripts, and then we compare the courses that each student has completed on your transcript with your program's requirements in your catalog year. So we look at everything you've done next to a list of everything you're supposed to do. After that analysis is done, you're going to get an email from us, and it's going to be one of two emails. The first email is, hey, based on everything you've done, plus any courses that you currently have in progress, you will in fact be done in the month that you apply to graduate. So it's a long-winded happy email, but it is a happy email. The other email that we send out, it's not unhappy, it just says, okay, based on everything you've done, as well as everything you're currently registered for, you will still need some additional number of credits or specific courses in order to finish your degree. Now, what we use in that analysis, again, it's a transcript which shows us every class you've done. It shows us every class you're registered for. But we also have your file here in Student Affairs. And if there's any sort of indication in your file that a special arrangement was worked out where you and your advisor decided instead of taking this class, which everybody else needs to take, you can take this other class instead. Any sort of special arrangement like that we have documentation for, we're going to take into account. But if you get an email from us saying, oh, you need to do certain things, and you know for a fact that you and your advisor have worked out alternative arrangements, that just means that nobody told Student Affairs. And we can't give you credit for any arrangement that we don't know about. So please, please, please get in touch with us immediately. Regardless, when you get that email, reach out and talk with your advisor again. In either situation, whether it's the yay, I'm done, or wow, I need to do some more, a conversation would be wise to have at that point. Bottom line, and now we're nearing the 15-minute mark, so I do want to stop, but just apply to graduate through Main Street. We'll do some checking. You'll get an email from us, meet with your advisor, and all will be right with the world. If you have any questions, as always, you can stop in Student Affairs, connect with your advisor. Um, but we are all on the same team. We do want you to graduate, and that's from the staff to the faculty to you, hopefully. So everybody involved wants you to finish up here. So we're going to give you credit as soon as we can for being done. But that we got to make sure that you've done everything you need to. So apply to graduate, meet with your advisor, then if you choose, attend commencement and be happy with the funny hat. Thank you for watching and hanging in. Remember to follow us at Facebook/Muskie School, and we're on Twitter now because everybody is. We are at USM Muskie School. Thanks again, and have a great rest of the semester.